Hello and welcome to the Empire State Trail Weekly Update, a look at the latest news from across the Erie Canalway and the Empire State Trail. And this is the update for August 9th to August 15th, 2026. And our live cam today is Waterford, where you don't see any preparations yet, but they will be getting ready for the tugboat roundup coming on September 11th, 12th, and 13th. And if we check in then, this will be a very busy picture indeed. Looks like a very nice Sunday morning there in Waterford. And getting into trail closures. And this update is from, still an old one, July 24th, 2026. So it's a couple weeks behind, but I guess there's been no major changes to it. I don't see anything on here. The big detour still is in the Utica area, where they're taking you into downtown Utica. And that's reflected on the Cycle the Canalway Trail map from our friends at Parks and Trails New York. And this is the one, if you're out there riding along, you want to be checking on. It's you still have the closure here in LaSalle Park, or Ralph Wilson Park in Buffalo. Let's see what else we got here. It's just a caution going underneath the 490 there in Rochester. Zooming out to there's a closure here in the by the aqueduct, where you're just taking a very quick street detour around the work on the aqueduct there. And then here's the major detour where they're taking you off the trail into Utica, over to Whitesboro, and back onto the trail. And you can use Bike Route 5 to get around there. Bike Route 5 is over here and kind of along a busier road. So they're putting you onto a little bit safer road. So just be aware of that. That'll add a little bit of time to your travels. And that's all we see so far. Let's click on the, let's click on the trail segments. And let's see, Empire State Trail. Let's click on that. And there's nothing noted for the Hudson Valley here, the Hudson Valley Greenway. Parks and Trails just completed their Cycle the Hudson Valley ride this past Saturday, and they were, I didn't notice anything. There was a couple trees down. They've been getting whacked with some storms down in here, but I think the trail maintainers have been getting out pretty quick and taking care of that. There is still an issue here. People are still getting confused, and we don't know why, on the kind of the permanent detour across the bridge here in Dunn Memorial Bridge. If you're trying to get from the end of the trail over to the train station, saw a post on the Facebook that somebody paid for a ride because they somehow couldn't figure out how to get over here. And so I went and I checked Google Maps. Google Maps is reflecting the change. The detour has been in place long enough that Google Maps is now showing the detour. And I even checked the data set on the on this page here. If you go over to Trip Planning, you can download data sets for your Wahoo or your Strava or whatever. And that's even showing the change. So people should not be confused finding this permanent detour if they're trying to get to the train station, or if you're trying to continue on south along the east side of the Hudson going south towards New York City. So just look out for the signs. The signs are there. Be aware of it. You have to cross the street. You have to ride up the ramp facing traffic. I know people don't like to do that, and it seems unnatural, but that's where they want you to be. So just be aware of that. And the other kind of trail adjacent detour that's coming in is the Theodore Wynn Bridge, which is Route 169 in Little Falls, is going to be closed for 5 weeks. And if you happen to be coming from somewhere in the north or whatever, and you want to get over to the trail by Lock 17, just be aware that you're going to have a little detour along this around this bridge. And there's other bridges in the Little Falls area, so it really shouldn't impact you. But just be aware of that. Nobody likes surprises. So last week, I posted a long rant, some might call it, diatribe, commentary, about the inaction of the state in regards to, continuing maintenance on the trail, especially in these sections of trail that the state doesn't own. They passed off to the local municipalities, and how it's going to impact trail usage, trail users, the future. And so this popped up. DEC should remove fence on the Adirondack Rail Trail. Now, the Adirondack Rail Trail is not part of the Empire State Trail. We've addressed this before. The Empire State Trail is a 750-mile trail, and there's still no determination. Can you add? Might the Adirondack Rail Trail become part of the Empire State Trail system if they were to connect it somehow? Likely not the way the current legislation is written. But anyway, going on from that, I just was caught by some quotations here. Instead of collaboration, they were met with silence. They were asking the DEC and the state to go in and remove some fences because there's fences between the trail and the business owners in some of the towns and villages. And they were saying, remove the fences so it's easier for the trail users to get to the businesses who really want the business, obviously. And then the response has been consistent silence. And so, read through this especially if you're in the planning, if you're in the planning of your area, if you're in the trail town, if you're having problems, you get the feeling that you're not alone. No one is asking the DEC to compromise public safety. No one is asking for unrestricted access. We're just asking for common sense. So it's just an interesting look into what's going on with other trails. The fence has stood long enough. So give that a read. Go up and ride the Adirondack Rail Trail. I was just watching a video on it this morning. It looks gorgeous. Love to get up there. And it's 34 miles long one way. It's between Lake Placid and Tupper Lake. It's a new trail. There's about 2 miles of pavement, and the rest is all stone dust. But it looks absolutely stunning. So if you're wanted to knock off another trail, add another trail to your list of trails, go see the Adirondack Rail Trail. There is an app for it you can download, and you can ride along it and see how the fences impact the local businesses. In stories this week, unlocking Albany's history, digging up Erie Canal Lock 1. I find these interesting because a number of years ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago even, Canal Society had a trip, Canal Society in New York State. We went to Albany and we were putting up the one of those blue and gold historic markers in Corning Preserve Park and, noting the end of the trail. It's actually become, I think, one of the markers that note the eastern terminus of the Erie Canal Way Trail. And if you look on the bottom of the sign, it says Canal Society in New York State. And we went over and we, stood on top of Lock 1. There was a printing company there was a parking lot there, and there's a printing company. I don't know if it's still there or not. But somebody had actually gone through and found the corner. So I'm always find it funny when they say they went and they discovered it, because now that we've located it. So I'm glad they're locating it. This is an effort by Len Tantillo, who has wanted to rewater Albany, recreate, like Lock 1, build a canal into Albany. So it's pretty exciting, and they seem to have some momentum here. And so this is an interesting story to follow. This would kind of be, again, trail adjacent. They're just, you'd be stopping there. That could be the official end of the trail in the future. Spotted lanternflies in Rockland County. If you see these buggers, stomp them, kill them. Don't show mercy. They want you to actively kill these things. And they are an invasive species. They're very pretty, but they suck the life right out of, they love grapevines and they love different things, and they're sucking They don't kill the plant, but they'll suck it dry basically. So if you happen to see these anywhere on your rides, kill them. There's all kinds of videos online you can go on, and you can find the egg masses on trees. If you find those, wipe them out, get rid of them. So that's all the news that has popped up this week. And I wanted to point out, if you're really looking for interesting reading, This Crazy Guy on a Bike is a journal or a place where you find all these different writings. I was introduced to this a couple years ago, and there's thousands of articles. People who riding the trail or writing. When we have people stop at the Hideaway, I say, "Are you blogging about this or whatever?" "Oh, yeah, I'm on Crazy Guy with a Bike or whatever." So this is just a place to go find all kinds of articles. If you're into touring, if you want to know how, if you're new to it, if you want to find a new place to go, Crazy Guy on a Bike is the place to go, I guess, to find those. I was interested in it because if you type it, it's not an easy website to navigate. I mean, they're trying to do a lot. They're journals by category. They have everything available here. Disasters, equipment list. There's a lot going on, so it's not an easy site to navigate. But if you type in historic books, this one came up. And we had a guy a couple years ago stop, and he was reading this, and you can download this on Hafty Trust. And this is interesting because it's all about this guy in the late 1800s, him and his junior partner, it's called. It's Alan Eric and the junior partner, who is his wife. They take these safety bicycles and they ride they were from Boston, and they took the train to Albany, and then they got on the Erie Canal, the towpath, rode along the towpath out to, I don't know, Amsterdam or Little Falls area or something, and then they went up into the Adirondacks. There's some really neat pictures in here, and it's just an interesting recount of their experiences. They're running into roads that had 6 inches of sand because that's what they used for the horses and the wagons, and they're basically pushing their bike for miles and miles and miles. So if you're looking for something interesting to read, or if you want to learn, if you're looking at a new route, check out Crazy Guy on a Bike. So checking out the calendar, today's the 9th. Little Falls Canal Days are wrapping up. The next big item is the New York State Fair on the 26th. So if you're riding through Syracuse during that time, that week and a half there, or 2 weeks, just be ready for some detours, a lot of traffic and everything around the fairgrounds. Just check your routes, be ready to take an alternate route if you need to. And then moving into September, Labor Day coming up already. The Tugboat Roundup, which is not on the trail, it's on the Champlain Trail, but it's not on the Erie Canalway Trail, but it's a fun place to go. If you've never been there, it's well worth going to. 11th, 12th, and 13th. And then the Cycle the U.S. Tour of the Erie Canalway Trail. That popped up. I'm not quite sure what it is, but there will be a large group cycling the Erie Canalway Trail between the 12th and the 20th. So just be aware of that. Be looking out for them and saying hello. And that's it. And that is it for this Empire State Trail Weekly. Please note that this is an independent weekly update and is not affiliated with New York State, the Canal Corporation, or any official trail agency. Information is based on publicly available sources and rider reports. Remember to give this a like and subscribe. Leave your comments. I appreciate that. And we will see you next week.